and welcome to Chanakya English. We have a very special guest today who calls himself novice, but a great researcher and enthusiast of a very, very interesting topic called Vedic meteorology. We've known that the word Vedic is associated with the dharmic Indic values. We've seen Vedic astrology, but meteorology is something that's definitely new to all of us. And we have a researcher who's here to share his thoughts and his ideas about Vedic meteorology. Vanakkam and welcome, Mr. Ramachandran sir.
Vanakkam, thank you for the opportunity. I am still a novice. Till my death, I will be a novice only. Okay. Let me start with straight away to the subject. It is only Vedic science. A branch of it is called Vedic meteorology. And for me, I used to tell Vedic science is the manufacturer's manual. Like any equipment you buy, the manufacturer gives a manual showing that how the system works, what are the important factors, how it is to be maintained, like that. The creator, we used to call Bhavan, he has given a manual which is Vedic science. The branch of it is Vedic meteorology, and how people have to use it so that they can stay away from catastrophes and extreme weather conditions and a lot of other events on Earth. And the most important factor, the Western science is not able to get hold of it, is because the universe works on a chaotic, organized chaos. That organized chaos is yet to be documented, because the documentation, all factors are started only late in 1960s. Before that, we don't have a proper documentation. In Vedic meteorology, there is ephemeris related, because if you take Earth as the center point, the solar system, and behind this we are going down the Milky Way galaxy as a unique time calculations, and these time calculations are well explained in Vedic science. And in terms of weather, I stumbled upon a statement called Bhanu Madhyama, which is Bhanu means sun, and Madhyama means with respect to Earth, when Venus and Mercury occupy on either side of the sun, it is called Bhanu Madhyama. This type of feature doesn't allow rainfall. At the same time, when both Venus and Mars, Mercury on the same side of sun with respect to Earth, it is called copious rainfalls. This given me an interest to enter into the subject. And to my shocking thing, there were rainfalls during Bhanumadhyamam period. That has created a curiosity. I started went deep into the subject. And by going that, I identified certain formulas, and I was able to relate with the weather.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, but we call it Vedic meteorology. So, can I understand it in a way that the Vedas, whatever Vedas they are, texts, they have spoken about meteorology and things, or are you extracting based on the slokas in the Vedas and you're improvising it? How does it work from a layman perspective?
Vedas have discussed about weather also. In fact, if you weather and extreme weather conditions and extreme catastrophic events on Earth, if you go by Mahabharata, at the end of the Mahabharata, after the war, Krishna was in Dwaraka and he was advising people that we are going to have a catastrophic tsunami which is going to eat our land. So it is better to move away from that. Even send Arjuna to get all the female and other children to safer places, because he has seen our spinning axis changing its course from pole star, from one pole star to another pole star. That was deeply discussed. That is the thing. And other than that, right from Ramayana period and Mahabharata period, we have been using astronomical data to even describe the events. So astronomy and astronomical data are very important in terms of events on Earth. And this organized chaos is very important, because none of the planets has the same speed of rotation around, going around the sun or at their axis. There will be a surprise if you consider just a planet like Mercury. The day in Mercury is something equivalent to 180 Earth days. But a year in Mercury is 44 days. 88 days. So it is, there are a lot of things which you have to understand. But those things are data. That is nothing to do with the weather phenomena. The weather phenomena is totally different. And in Vedas, especially the branch of Vedas, which I call it Vedic meteorology, we discuss things about on Earth as geocentric. Why we have to consider geocentric? Because Earth is the only planet supporting human and living organism. We don't have another Earth-like planet to equate what is happening there. So our system is designed in such a way to understand how things are getting disturbed on Earth. So they studied the interplanetary struggle with respect to the zodiac alignments and with respect to the Milky Way travel of our solar system, which happens almost 240 million years. It's a, it's a deep study. For me, it's like I am standing in front of an ocean as a small squirrel and trying to say, I know the ocean. I am still a novice. What I'm trying to say is, we have to understand uh, the reliable data to any extreme events on Earth is astronomical data. Because you need, if investigation people always look for evidences to relate to the event. They go back to even in criminal instances, they were so confident that person would have left some item so that we could be able to track the person. Like that, the relative document or derivative data which can be related to any catastrophe on Earth is only astronomical data. Because why I'm saying this, meteorological data started building up only after, in fact, first satellite was launched in 1960. It is hardly 60 years before we got there. But the geocentric satellite started only in 1977. And the number of satellites, even on as on day, is 35 to 40 only. If you raise the size of the Earth, the 3045 is too meager. And the data collected over a period of 60 years or even 50 years is it's not at all any useful thing. Whereas our ephemeris are going to give you precisely what are the combinations, how things have, why things have reached the extreme conditions. All those things we can discuss in detail. In fact, based on
So,
the, okay, tell me.
sorry, sir. So before we go further, right? So now we are telling that the modern day astronomy or astrology, I mean astronomical predictions or forecasts, they are based on satellite images and data that we get, right? So
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
what is the basis of how the weather forecast is done. Now, similarly, how in Vedic meteorology, what is the process or the technology that they have used? Because you're telling more than so many so many thousands of years previously they've predicted certain things. What did they have to observe the galaxy?
In fact, Brigid Samhita and Surya Siddhanta deeply discussed about our solar system. In fact, Bhagavatam 5th chapter completely discuss about how stars, planets, Earth, solar system are formed. In fact, according to one research based on Gayatri Mantra, there is a phrase which says, planets and moon came first, then came sun, which will be a shocking thing for people who don't uh, keep that point aside and think they use their brain to analyze. Simply, I'll give an explanation to you to understand the concept. The olden days cinema theaters used to project the film using a arc light. The carbon arcs are separated with the distance, and the high voltage current is passed. When the current jumps from one arc to another, the intermediate space gets eliminated. The same way, it doesn't require anything to be in between. Only thing we have to create a friction like thing or a high voltage thing so that the center portion, because of the atmosphere which is gas is available, it is going to burn up. Like the way we could have accepted the sun came late. Okay, that is only a perception. What I'm saying is, here the weather equations are very, very important. They identified the equation that is being deeply discussed, as I told you, in Brigid Samhita. Even observation methods also discussed in Brigid Samhita, as well as in Surya Siddhanta, and a lot of other our own Tamil literatures are available. See, in
Mhm.
fact, there is a Serbian researcher by name Milankovic. He has done a deep
Mhm.
study. He was between 1896 and 1958, if I'm correct. His study is supposed to be very, very important in terms of dismissing global warming agenda. because he has discussed deeply our solar system travel around the Milky Way is so different. The global extreme weather conditions we face on Earth is related to the alignment of our solar system with the different star system and different positions it takes in the Milky Way.
Mm.
That is a vague study. I am not discussing, but he has given a he has given a window through which we have to go and explore every stage of our travel in the Milky Way. I have done a nano study. Why I am studying nano study is year on year I am preparing a global weather forecast as well as annual weather forecast for Indian monsoon. Before going into that, let me tell you how the modern meteorologists talk about weather. They are solely
Yes.
depending on satellite images, radar images for short-term forecasts, and ocean temperatures and atmospheric wind patterns. They have, they think there is we have three zones. There is mid latitude zone, which is above 30 degrees north latitude and 30 degrees below south latitude, and the tropical zone, which almost of our African and Indian subcontinent and equatorial regions are falling. The mid latitude region weather forecasting is like forecasting a timetable of aircraft travel or train travel. It starts in a particular station, it reaches the next station at a particular time, intermediate station, the timings can be. The same way the weather can be forecast. That is why whenever people in India discuss about weather, they used to, in America, they used to tell whether the next 2 days, what time it is going to rain. Even if when you are in America, you will be able to say, when they say rainfall in Dallas or Texas, they used to give 60% probability, because the Dallas area or Texas area, the total area may not get the rainfall, but 60% of the area will get the rainfall. That much only the short term forecast accuracy. The long term, they use only a numerical method. The numerical methods are totally unscientific because it's an open-ended data. We have millions of years of successful monsoon performance in a country like India, which is a subcontinental country, and weather patterns are so unique to this nature. And we have almost 4.5 lakh years of successful monsoon pattern, successful yield. But the same thing cannot be discussed about other parts of the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. Even for the African continent, the Sahara area and all, it's been suffering for a long time. This monsoon pattern can be related only with the astronomical data. Only when we see, for example, I told you the Banu Madhibam. Like that, I identified nearly 43 equations, and I had myself added 4 more equations. These 43 equations either advance the meteorological performance or delay the performance or give everything in a short time. It is that like a cloud burst. Cloud burst is anything about 20 centimeters rainfall falling within 1 hour, which is definitely going to create flash floods and catastrophes for the particular region, but it's going to suffer. I was able to identify those things also in my forecast. Like that, killer lightnings, landslides, earthquakes, everything can be discussed because of the intraplanetary struggle which is happening on solar system. At the same time, it has a very, very important alignment to the zodiac star, which is getting aligned to that.
Sir, when you spoke about the modern scientific methods, you said the open-endedness. You talked about some open-endedness.
Yeah.
So, when you say the data is open-ended, what do you mean by that actually?
We have only 60 years of data. That too, to be very precise, reliable data is only after 1990s.
No, that is
You mean to
okay,
say,
but
yeah,
the
no, no, let me,
satellite
uh,
images. Mhm.
no, no, 1990 to 2026, it is hardly 36 years. It is insignificant. It should not be given any value at all. Because for
Okay, so let me, for understanding purpose, let me rephrase
uh,
this question. So, what you're telling is, based on the satellite images, they are studying the data, what they have accumulated over 60 years, and comparing and giving a weather forecast. Is that
yeah,
what you're trying to tell?
yeah, that is what.
Okay.
That is why they always, that is only probability theory they use. What I'm saying, the satellite image or ocean temperature, what is recorded for 7th June may not be the same for the 8th June. There may be variations. They don't have a data whether it is going to behave the same way or not. There are things which have gone totally vary because the surface conditions are different from actually the data related study from the meteorologists and meteorological centers. For example, I'll give you a simple explanation about El Nino. They talk about El Nino. In fact, it has been discussed for almost more than 500 years, and still they are not able to figure out when it is going to happen, when it is going to take the peak, when it is going to dissipate. And my one simple thing is, all along the meteorological centers dismiss external influence on Earth, and they talk Earth and the Sun are 0-0 aligned. That is the proof is every year we get summer equinox and winter equinox and the summer solstice, winter solstice on the same days, differing few hours. Why on particular years alone, the South Pacific country near Peru, it has to be extremely hot to create El Nino conditions? Are we getting the sun too close to ourselves? Are we going too close to the sun? If that is not going to be the case, what is the reason behind the extreme temperatures reached in the Pacific, East Pacific to have a El Nino effect? This can be discussed in detail, and we can write the entire catalog for next millennium. When are the year? What are the years we are going to experience El Nino conditions? The same
So
way
you mean to say global warming and everything, this has nothing to do with El Nino effect?
Definitely. I'll give you a simple example. Chennai faced extreme catastrophic floods in 2015. The corner of the paper, when they discuss about the floods in Chennai, 1905, 1906, Chennai faced similar floods. In 1905, 1906, the population was less than one-third what it was in 2015. And the forest was intact. No pollution due to fossil fuels. A lot of other things can be said about negative about global warming. People were trying to put that narrative. Why floods happened in 1906 and 1905? The same way, weather extremes all over the world discussed about after 1,000 years we are facing severe floods in Europe, which was discussed in, if I'm correct, in 2020 or 22. The why I'm saying is just when you observational forecast can be successful for 48 to 72 hours, but their long-term forecasts are numerical model. Numerical model is will not be successful even for 1,000 years from now, because we don't have sufficient data to create a new numerical model. I'll simply give you an explanation about numerical models. Imagine we have an auditorium of 1,000 seats. If you allow men and women entering the auditorium as they wish and take a statistics for 10,000 days, the seats occupied by men, seats occupied by women, we list out and create a database. And based on the database, we can imagine what is going to be the 10,000 first day, who is going to occupy the seat, a female or male. We can come out with a prediction. That prediction will be almost 90% successful. The moment you include the height of the person, you need another 1 lakh data. The moment you add age of the person or the color of the person, it is you need another 10 lakh data. It is enormous just for 1,000 seats auditorium. Imagine what is the data required.
So what you are telling is the granularity of the data that we are talking about is missing in the modern methodologies.
Yeah,
is what you are telling.
It cannot be built. It cannot be built. But we have evidences of extreme weather, extreme catastrophes right from 4th BC. In fact, one of my study about earthquake, I stumbled upon an earthquake in 3rd or 4th BC in the Middle East region, where Egypt and Saudi Arabia region lost more than 1 crore people because of an earthquake. So in that, I studied earthquake patterns almost for the last several years. And that during the study one day, I stumbled upon this thing. The maximum death due to an earthquake massive was in 4th BC in Egypt and Saudi Arabia belt.
Okay, so, now if I have to ask you, what will you do? Say, for example, I'm asking you, sir, predict the weather for the next 6 months for India.
Yeah.
where will you start? What is your data and how will you start and where will you go? What are the texts that you refer to? Enlighten us about that.
No. I told you, no, I shortlisted the equations. I
Mm-hmm.
shortlisted the equations. I apply the equations, and I prepare a geocentric graph. I'll send you a digital version so that you can display in your video, interview. What I'm saying is, I prefer a geocentric graph. In the graph, I have. Can I show you a graph right now?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
This is the graph for 2000. Are you able to see it properly?
1 minute. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Yes, I'm seeing
Uh,
it.
this is the graph for 2026 and 27,
Mm-hmm.
and this geocentric graph has planetary movements arranged in x-axis and y-axis,
Okay.
and this geocentric graph has sun positions and Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and Ragu also. Ragu means lunar nodes.
But
Hello.
Rahu is an imaginary planet, right, sir?
It's a shadow planet. It is not a planet, it is
Mm-hmm.
a shadow. But lunar modes are given importance all over the world, including the scientific community.
Okay.
Because without calculating the lunar nodes, you cannot identify the eclipse dates and the eclipse angles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Lunar node is such an important thing, which has a significance on weather patterns also.